If you love the vintage hi-fi aesthetic but want modern performance, Wharfedale's Super Denton bookshelf speakers delivers the best of both worlds. As part of the Wharfedale Heritage series, it blends classic design with cutting-edge engineering, proving that retro style doesn't have to mean retro sound. Inspired by the legendary Denton 3, Super Denton refines everything people love about old-school speakers with today's best acoustic advancements. The rich wood veneer, throwback grille, and warm, inviting look are all there. This speaker is far more than just a nostalgia play. It's a testament to Wharfedale's ability to bridge the gap between vintage charm and modern sound. Let's dive into what makes the Super Denton special, how it compares to other Wharfedale models, and why it stands out in the world of vintage-inspired speakers. If you haven't seen our review of the Wharfedale Super Linton, I recommend checking it out. I'll leave a link in the description below. Just like the Super Linton, the Super Denton takes the base Denton to new heights, much like the Denton 3 did in 1971. But one thing is for sure, Wharfedale pulled off the classic vintage look perfectly. However, they weren't happy just with a vintage look. They wanted these new speakers to have a performance that could compete with all of the more modern speakers on the market. In fact, many vintage audio enthusiasts today actually hunt down classic speakers and then rebuild them. But one of the biggest challenges is the enclosure. Older cabinets were designed before much of today's research on cabinet resonance and vibration control, which can lead to unwanted coloration in the sound. Now, this poses an issue for many wanting the vintage look for their rooms but don't want the problems that vintage speakers come with. To solve this issue, the enclosure of the Super Denton uses a combination of layers of particle board and MDF. These materials have different resonant properties and will not transfer their separate resonances onto each other. Bonding these layers is a unique resonance damping adhesive that tamps out vibration. The cabinet is then braced for structural stability and vibration control, and long hair fiber damping material is added to the cabinet's internal volume. All of this adds up to a very resonance-free cabinet that performs much better than classic cabinets from the past. The front panel is super clean with an inset baffle, while the back panel has twin reflex ports and binding posts. We like that Wharfedale chose to use simple but high quality binding posts and didn't resort to the cheap plastic terminal cups on so many speakers. They come in at around 14 inches tall, 10 inches wide, and 12 inches deep, and weigh just over 20 pounds each. This means that while the Super Denton is designed for high performance fidelity, it also is designed to fit into rooms and systems where their larger models just wouldn't work in. Real wood veneers and a vintage looking cloth grille finish off the classic looks and offer a finished quality really that's above their price point. You can also get these speakers in your choice of antique walnut, black oak, or mahogany red. So just like in 1971, when Wharfedale took the Denton two-way speaker design and elevated it by adding a dedicated mid-range driver, turning it into a true three-way speaker, they did the same thing here. Splitting the frequency range across 3 drivers instead of 2 reduces distortion since each driver has less work to do. This also helps minimize intermodulation distortion, which occurs when multiple frequencies interact within the same driver, creating unwanted harmonics and affecting clarity. By introducing a dedicated mid-range, the Super Denton delivers a smoother transition between the woofer and the tweeter, allowing more accurate and natural sound reproduction. And the drivers in this speaker aren't just any off-the-shelf components. Each one is carefully engineered to work seamlessly together. So let's break down what makes them special. The tweeter is designed with precision in mind. It features a 1-inch soft dome built for smooth, detailed highs that complement the speaker's vintage-inspired design. Much like the Super Linton that we recently reviewed, this tweeter delivers clarity without harshness, ensuring an engaging and natural listening experience. In the Super Denton, this tweeter is offset on the front baffle to mitigate diffraction from the front baffle. When a tweeter is perfectly centered, sound waves interact symmetrically with the surrounding baffle, causing reflections that can impact clarity. By offsetting the tweeter, Wharfedale reduces these symmetrical diffractions, leading to improved imaging and just a more expansive soundstage. This is a design improvement that engineers in the 60s and 70s didn't fully fully account for, making the Super Denton not just vintage-inspired speaker, but really a true modern refinement of a classic design. Now, covering frequencies from 4.6 kilohertz to 20 kilohertz, this tweeter handles the upper range with precision, ensuring clear, detailed highs that blend seamlessly with the mid-range. They've also introduced a 2-inch soft dome mid-range driver to enhance upper mid-range performance and allow the tweeter to focus more on the presence region of the audio band. Now, this addition is going to improve the vocal clarity and instrument tonality. Acting as a crucial bridge between the woofer and the tweeter, the mid-range driver ensures a smoother transition across frequencies, reducing strain on the other drivers. Housed in its own sub-enclosure, it remains isolated from the woofer to prevent unwanted interference and maintain purity in the mid-range. Covering frequencies that play from 940 Hz to 4.6 kHz, it plays a vital role in keeping the sound balanced and cohesive. Now, here at Audio Advice, we always emphasize that the number of drivers alone doesn't determine a speaker's quality. Proper integration is really the key. We've heard incredible two-way designs and complex four-way setups that don't just quite come together. The challenge with multi-driver speakers is getting everything to blend seamlessly, and we have to say Wharfedale has done an excellent job ensuring that this mid-range driver enhances the overall performance of the Super Denton rather than complicating it. The 6.5-inch woofer is engineered for both power and precision. It features a lightweight yet strong woven Kevlar cone, allowing it to respond quickly and accurately to bass notes without unwanted distortion. A die-cast chassis, a substantial magnet, and a high excursion surround ensure that it can handle deep, punchy bass while maintaining control. This driver is also used in the 85th anniversary Denton, but in the Super Denton, it plays up to 940 Hz instead of the 3.1 kHz, allowing for a smoother handoff to the dedicated mid-range driver. For a low-end reach down to its specified 40 Hz, the woofer sometimes moves significantly to reproduce deep bass. By crossing it over at a lower frequency, Wharfedale reduces the strain of handling both deep bass and upper mid-range frequencies at the same time, resulting in lower distortion and a cleaner overall presentation. So to get the most out of these Super Dentons, we set them up on some Wharfedale WH-ST3 24-inch aluminum stands, which provided the perfect height for optimal listening and help with stability and resonance control. These stands are a great match for the Super Denton, keeping the tweeters at ear level while ensuring the speakers are properly isolated from vibrations that could color the sound. We also tried some other stands that worked pretty well, and we tried several different amplifiers with the Super Denton, and they proved pretty easy to drive for a 6 ohm nominal impedance speaker that is 87 dB efficient. Our favorite sound though was when we paired the Super Dentons with the Leek Stereo 230 integrated amplifier, a choice that made a lot of sense both aesthetically and sonically. Since Leek is a sister brand to Wharfedale, the pairing just felt natural. Both brands share a commitment to vintage-inspired design with modern engineering, making them an ideal match. The Stereo 230's clean, high-current class AB amplification gave the Super Dentons plenty of power to shine, while its ESS Sabre 32 reference DAC ensured digital sources sounded really good and super detailed. We played everything from vinyl through its built-in phono stage to high-resolution digital tracks, and the results were consistently engaging, and we really loved the sound. The combination of the Super Dentons, their stands, and the Stereo 230 amp delivered a really well-balanced and dynamic sound with excellent imaging and a warm, natural tonality. The dedicated mid-range driver in the Super Denton really stood out here to us, bringing out vocal clarity and instrumental detail in a way that felt both refined and pretty much effortless. Bass was tight and controlled, never overpowering, and the overall presentation had that immersive, vintage-inspired feel, but the precision and transparency of modern speaker design. Whether we were spinning classic rock, jazz, or acoustic singer-songwriters, this setup really provided a rich and musical listening experience that felt true to the spirit of high-quality hi-fi. Honestly, there are many integrated amplifiers for under $2,500 that would also make great companions to the Super Dentons. So if you want help choosing the right one for you, just give us a call or chat with our experts at audioadvice.com and we'd be happy to help you out. Now, one specific album that we tested with these speakers was All Them Witches' 2015 album Dying Surfer Meets His Maker, which is a great way to tell if a speaker allows natural tone to shine through or do things like have cabinet resonance, diffraction, and just have a lousy crossover design that destroys the tone. Their studio recordings aren't full of overdone effects or overprocessed like many rock recordings today. One listen to the track's mellowing and open passageways will confirm this. So a Gibson SG going through a Fender Deluxe sounds like it as long as your speakers allow it. Just like the other speakers in Wharfedale's Heritage line, the Super Dentons keep the same neutral, even-keeled sonic structure. The treble is detailed and smooth, but sits nicely in the mix, not drawing too much attention. The mid-range had great clarity and allowed the natural tone of guitars and voices to just really shine. And the bass was tight, fast, and punchy if it called for it. Remember, this is a stand mount speaker though, so bass will be slightly more limited than a floor standing speaker. Now with the offset tweeter, the imaging was rock solid and focused, and the soundstage was wide and deep for a speaker at this price point and size. Now we know many people might be considering these Super Dentons or the Wharfedale 85th anniversary Denton. With the price points only about $400 apart, this is a fair comparison. They are both great speakers and offer very competitive sound at their price points. We like to think of the Super Denton as just that, a super version of the already great 85th anniversary Denton. If you can swing the price difference and the slightly larger cabinet is not an issue, go with the Super Denton all day long. The added soft dome mid-range makes it a three-way design, making the mid-range clarity just so much better, clearer, and detailed. The mid-range is where most of the music lives anyways, so anything that can improve it, especially for the small upgrade price to the Super Denton, is a no-brainer. But if your budget or space doesn't allow for the Super Denton, again, the 85th anniversary Denton is a great two-way speaker and one of the best at its price. Now, just like the other speakers in Wharfedale's heritage lineup, the Super Denton marries outstanding measured performance with a vintage appeal that people just love. We can't think of any other vintage looking speaker line in their price class that packs this level of performance. Now, if you are interested in these, you can purchase them from audioadvice.com, and I'll also leave links down in the description below. If you do have more questions, just give us a call or chat or stop by one of our award-winning showrooms and we'd be happy to help you out. Now, when you purchase anything from Audio Advice, including these Super Dentons, you help this channel, and we also offer free shipping, lifetime support, and a price guarantee. Plus, again, our speaker experts are always here to help you get the best setup and the most out of your system. Now leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think of these new Super Dentons. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any of our latest content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.